The old saying that the flame that burns twice as bright burns twice as fast is perhaps twice as true in Hollywood. The world of show business is full of shining stars who have briefly illuminated stage and screen before leaving us too soon. The names of actors like James Dean and River Phoenix have passed into mythology, their talent and beauty immortalized in the movies they left behind. Tragically, on January 22, 2008, another name was added to the list of movie stars who have passed away before reaching their 30th birthdays. His name was Heathcliff Andrew Ledger, and he had just completed the most hotly anticipated role of his career as the Joker in The Dark Knight.
His brilliance, his how kind he is, how much he loved his character, how much he prepared for it, his the courage it took for him to play the role, and the time I got to spend with him. It will be always. I'll cherish that memory.
He was just, absolutely free in a way that is incredibly unusual, even for the greatest actors. And it's thrilling working with someone who's in that place and contagious. And I had a wonderful time working with him.
He immersed himself completely. He had just a fantastic time making this movie. I did too with him. We very much enjoyed watching each other, our performances, the immersion in it. He's created this anarchic, Sid Vicious-like punk rock Joker, unlike any Joker that's been seen before. I think it's a real classic portrayal that will be remembered for ages.
Heath Ledger had never had trouble being remembered, even at the very beginning of his career. Thanks to his heartthrob good looks, he found early success in soaps like Aussie drama Home and Away, after moving to Sydney from his hometown of Perth while still in his teens. In a foretaste of things to come, Heath even played a troubled gay cyclist in the ill-fated sporting drama Sweat. He caught the eye of Australian director Gregor Jordan, who cast him opposite screen veteran Brian Brown in the crime caper Two Hands. The film was a success both in Australia and overseas. Hollywood sat up and took notice, and he was snapped up to sing, dance and act opposite teen queen Julia Stiles in the comedy 10 Things I Hate About You. Other roles quickly followed, including a chance for Heath to work with one of his childhood heroes, fellow Aussie Mel Gibson, on The Patriot.
Oh, he's a national hero, Yeah, he does, and never in a million years did I imagine that I'd be working with him. Of course I grew up, watching all these movies, Mad Max and Gallipoli, and I tell you what, he was the guy who bridged the gap between the two industries for us, so, he's a man.
Another period piece followed, this time a comedy. Heath spent several months in Prague filming the rollicking hit A Knight's Tale. The film struck box office gold, and Heath found himself scaling Hollywood heights at a rate even he hadn't foreseen.
I guess not. I don't know if you imagine it. You just strive for your next job, and that's it, and that takes you to here, and that's really it. I don't know. I never really had one goal,
But even at this early stage in his career, the young actor had his eyes on the bigger picture and was determined to become much more than a Hollywood heartthrob.
I have made a conscious effort to kind of slow down my career in a way. I mean, I had an opportunity to take other paths, but and once you're on top, there's only one place to go. So I don't really want to be there, and I don't know, I'm not that ambitious. I don't really want to go out and buy skyscrapers, so I'm not, looking for that kind of career.
Determined to steer himself away from the pin-up boy roles, he surprised everyone by turning down a string of high-profile roles, including Spider-Man. Heath's chance to prove he was much more than a pretty face came in true Hollywood style by lucky accident. At very short notice, he was asked to take over the role of Sonny Grotowski in the drama Monsters Ball, opposite Billy Bob Thornton. It was a small role, but pivotal to the plot, and it proved to his future collaborators that Heath was a genuine talent.
Heath was someone that we had wanted in the role. I mean, I had wanted him for a while. I saw something in him that he was very macho appearing, but there was something vulnerable about him. Then Larry saw him in Monsters Ball.
I saw him in Monsters Ball, and the minute he shot himself, I left and said that should be in us, if we can get him.
But the superstardom and acclaim that would come with playing a closeted gay cowboy in Brokeback Mountain was still several years away. In 2003, Heath teamed up with Two Hands director Gregor Jordan to play another outlaw on the run. This time his task was to bring to life the Australian folklore icon Ned Kelly.
He sort of found something as an actor that I'd never seen before, and I hadn't actually seen before in him as a guy. You know, he kind of accessed a darkness and I guess a sort of a rawness of spirit that, you know, was really important and really fundamental to Ned's character.
Despite the fact that Ned Kelly would not find a release outside of Australia, Heath was rapidly becoming big news, thanks in part to his new relationship with Ned Kelly co-star and fellow Australian Naomi Watts, herself a rising star due to her Oscar-nominated performance in 21 Grams. Always ready to crown a new Hollywood power couple, the paparazzi trained their lenses on Heath and Naomi more and more frequently. Heath, though, was wary of becoming tabloid fodder, and as he reflected in late 2007, found dealing with all the constant media attention very difficult in his younger years.
What's harder is you know, growing up through your development kind of years, like in front of the spotlight, so to speak. Like, you know, when you're in your late teens, early 20s, I think you could relate to this too. We're very impulsive and rebellious and you know, and so therefore I was very much that way and very defensive and very guarded about my personal life, and it's just as anyone would be at that age, you know, and so, you know, I was just as anyone else, any other guy during that stage of his life was, except for in the media, you know, in front of the public eye. And so it was documented, my development as a human being.
In his determination